this is it. When you get to this point, if you click on this one, it's going to open up a PDF for you with the steps, right? Then if you click on this, you to download the packet tracer source file. So this is what you use to do the practical. So I have them already, and I'll just all right. So we'll start here. We'll start because we're going to do one, two, three, four of them today.
Uh, if I want you to go first, there's one pre-test
Mm.
for module one. It's like you are the one that will activate it for us. I don't
Okay,
know.
it's not active. It's telling you contact your instructor. All right. Okay, I'll activate
Yes.
it after the class.
Okay.
I'll activate from
Okay.
that point to the module one to four for it.
Okay.
All right. So this packet tracer environment, all right. So we have a workspace here. You can mute your mic now. We have a workspace here. We have different classes of devices here. So we have your network device, end devices, um, components, connection, and several others. So in the previous video, I talked about network devices. When I talked about the routers, your switches, your hubs, your wireless router, and the rest. Then end devices, I said that they are like your PCs, your mobile phones, smartphones. You can see we have servers, we have printers, IP phones, right? Television. Those are end devices. So anything at all that you can use to send or receive information is an end device. So right here it's just the menu bar. Then we also have two kind of view. We have physical view, we have logical view. So the physical view shows you a physical arrangement. For example, now this is more like an office. Let me zoom out. So it
See
has,
anything? I can't see anything.
you can't see anything. Okay, sorry
Yes.
about that. Let me uh reshare. All right, sorry about that. Let me just go back again. So I said there are two kinds of view. We have logical views, we have physical view. All right. So physical view shows you some physical arrangement. You can see this is more like a main room, and if we had some systems to just be arranged inside here. So it just shows you the physical topology. For example, this is a map. This is an office, right? Um, on the logical view is where you do your actual simulation, all right? You can drag and drop in devices. So here we have different sections of devices, networking devices, and end devices, right? These are end devices, and I said end devices are like your PC, laptop, and the rest. Then we also have some home devices, smart city, power grid, and all that. So that's it for the introduction to this interface. Then we also have simulation mode. So simulation mode is what enables you to simulate different kinds of. Let me say you have finished putting up a network, okay? Finished drawing up a network. You would now simulate how information is going to be transmitted over that network. We're going to do some things on that. So let's just open up the first lab. So we have this. I'm going to dock it. All right. So this in this lab, we are just going to be um, identifying some of these devices, and you're going to be arranging them here. For example, they say we should bring router 0. So router 0 is going to be the 2911 router. So router is a network device. So you have to come to network device and you come to routers. So you find router 2911 here. So router 2911 is this. So putting router 2911 here, then router 1 should be 1941. So we also have 1941 here. We have 4311. We have router 3 to be 4321. We have router 4 4321 again. Router 5 4321. Then if you want to copy router, so we can actually uh, instead of clicking once, if you click once, it's going to show you how the router looks like physically, right? So if I zoom in, this is how your router looks like physically. I can actually turn it off and turn it on, right? Go back to the original size. I'm going to close it. So if you want to duplicate a router, you can just right click and select the router you want to duplicate. So for example, now they say we should copy what router 3. I'll hold control down and click. So when I hold control down and click and drag, I'll be able to drop the router. I can do the same thing again. Hold down control, click and drag. 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 So that's exactly how you do this. So when you're done, you just click on check result. Although these ones are not actually graded, so I can close this. I'll go to the next one. So the next lab says okay, it's still opening up. Okay, so the next lab says deploy and cable devices. All right, so I'm going to talk with that. So we're to drop all these things here and we're going to connect them to each other. All right, so what we're to do, we're going to drop PC0. So PC is under all devices. All right, so we have PC. So we're going to drag PCs to this point. Okay, drag PCs also to this point. And lastly, we are going to drag switches. So switches are broadcast domains in networking. Okay, so let me go to network devices. So you can see switches here. So it says switch what 2960. So this is the 2960 here. So I'm going to drop this here and drop this here. All right, so the next thing we're going to what cable the devices. Now in the video, if you watch this well, you will find out that I talked about two kinds of standards for the cables. All right, and one uses copper straight through, one uses copper crossover. So in the connection here, we have different cables. We have the copper straight through, copper crossover, fiber optics, phone, coaxial, and the rest. So if you're not sure of what kind of cable to use, you can also use this automatically choose connection type. So that is going to work. Then I'm going to let me confirm my connection. Okay, still okay. So you can see here now, we use copper crossover to connect devices of different kinds. Okay, so what to call use copper crossover for the switches. Okay, when you use copper crossover for devices of the same kind. So for example, this switch is now use copper crossover to connect this switch. So we're going to connect it to the Giganet port, to this one, the gigabit Ethernet port. So we're connected the two switches together. So after some time, it's going to turn green. All right. So when they are both synchronized, they are just synchronizing at the moment. Now for the PC to the switch, we use what copper straight through to connect this PC. So you connect it to the fast Ethernet, right? Connect to the fast Ethernet of this. You do the same thing again from here. connect fast internet to the next port. You can see there are 24 ports on this switch. um do it more again, connect it here. All right, I'm going to do this again. Fast internet port, connect it here. Not the gigabit. The gigabit is for fast, is a for gigabit connection, right? So fast internet is, so you can see this one here has turned green because it has connected completely. So the communication is possible. That's just what it means. You can see these two now are green because communication is possible. So going to use another copper straight through to connect from here to here. And lastly, I'm going to do this. You can also start from here, port 3, and come here, port 4. So right now we have successfully connected these devices. Let's just wait a bit for these two to sync. Alright, so that one is almost done. Alright, so that is done. Next, we are going to be going to the next. No, I don't need to save this. Going to the next packet tracer lab. So this one says we have to configure end devices. So we have to deploy a 2960 switch. Okay, so we'll come to the 2960 switch. We're going to drop it here. Okay, and we're going to add two pieces. Okay, so we'll come to end devices, add the pieces. So we have PC 0 here. All right, let me see. Okay, then you have PC1 also. So we are connecting these two pieces to a switch and a server. So after doing that, I'm going to pick up a server and drop it here. So the next thing I'm to do is to connect the pieces with copper straight through. All right, come to connection. You're going to use copper straight through. So you connect it to with the fast Ethernet 0 cable to this switch. All right, do the same thing here, just like what we did before. When you're connecting two different devices, you use copper straight through. All right. Then we connect with copper straight through again from the what fast internet 0 of the server to the switch. So we connect to the gigabit Ethernet of the switch. Alright, so that has been done. The next thing now, we are going to actually configure the IP addresses. So let's go to server 0 first. So I guess server is just like a normal PC that you have. So if I should click on this, you see this is just a regular PC, alright, but it has more storages. So we're going to go to the desktop tab. Now under desktop tab, go to IP configuration. Then you have to ensure it's static, and we're going to enter an IP address here, which is 192.168.1.1. Then subnet mask will enter automatically. Alright, so I can close this. Then we're going to configure the other pieces. Alright, so we'll go to desktop IP configuration, and for this PC1, PC0, I'll use 192.168.1.2. Remember the server was 0.1.1, so we give different IP addresses to different devices. Not two devices can have the same IP address. Alright, we come to desktop tab again, and we'll do the same thing. 192.168.1, this time around 0.3. Right, so close this. So now we can now verify if they can communicate with each other. So what I can do is that I can check if my PC can communicate from my PC. I can check if my PC can communicate with the server. Remember, we used an IP address for the server as 192.168.1.1. Now, from this PC0, I'm going to go to the command prompt, and I'm going to type ping 192.168.1.1. So I'm going to use enter. You can see there's reply from the server. So you can see there's reply from the server. That means my PC can communicate with the server. So I can also use PC1 to and do the same thing and ping 192.168.1.1, and it should give me the same response. You see one can was communicate with the server. So next, let's check if our web browser is working, and we can do this by saying by going to, let's say, let me use PC1 as an example. Alright, I'll go to the web browser. Right.
Excuse me, please, there's noise over there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Outside here, there's a DJ. So this is the quietest place I can be at the moment. Sorry about that. Alright,
No
so
problem.
this is the web browser, right? And I'm going to try to open a web page 168.1.1. So you can see this is a web page from the server. So you can see everything is working. This is like this web page that is working from the server, and everything works like a normal PC. So this is exactly how communication is done over the internet. So when you connect to the internet and you open a website, you are actually connecting to a particular server that is on the network. All right. So there is something called the basic switch configuration. I'm just going to show you. You can just open the switch and you come to config. You can change the switch name, the display name. So I'm going to change the display name from switch 0 to central. So immediately I just press enter. Okay. I'm going to change the host name now from I'm going to change the host name now to Central 2. So once I click on tab, you can see here it has already changed the host name. So in this place, you can actually easily configure your switch, change the name, uh, configure different ports, and all that on your switch. So that's going to be all concerning this first lab, this third lab rather. So we'll be moving to the last one. So we're going to create a simple home network. I'm going to close this one. So it's loading. Alright, so it's open now. So we're going to build a simple home network. First of all, we are going to add a PC, add a laptop, add a cable modem. So PC is a end devices, so we'll add the PC. Need to add the laptop. Then cable modem is under network devices, and under network devices, if I go to WLAN emulation, so you can see cable modem here. So the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to connect these devices. Alright, so I'm going to first of all let me change the display name of the network device, which is the router. So I'm going to get to open up the router. Okay, waiting for it to load. It's alright, my router is open. I'm going to come to config. So look at the router display name here. So I'm going to change the display name. So I'm going to change um, from wireless router to, let's say, my router. Right, so I've done that. Let's go back to the physical. Okay, I'm going to close it. So that's how to change the display name of your router. Then I'm going to connect these devices together. So I can use, for my PC, I'm going to use copper straight through, right, to connect the PC, right, at fast Ethernet 0 to the router, to the gigabit Ethernet. Alright, then I'm going to connect the wireless router. Here it says to use copper crossover. So we connect the internet port to the cable port 1. Okay, then for the modem we're going to use the coaxial cable to connect from port 0 to this port, so to coaxial 7. Alright, so everything is working. Then next thing, we're going to what? Configure PC. Alright, so this time around we're going to use DHCP instead of static, right, what I've been doing before. So right here I'm going to go to desktop. Let me forget the command prompt and check the network that is available. So I'll say IP config space /all. So you can see this has given me all of the network information. You can see the subnet mask, so there's no IPv4 address and the rest. So let me um, go to my IP address. So I'm going to go to IP address and I change it to DHCP. Just what you can see is requesting IP address. So you can see request was successful. So you can see that an IP address has been assigned here to my PC, and I'm going to close this. Okay. First of all, let's confirm if we can. Um, so let's type ipconfig again /all. Alright, so you can see I now have an IPv4 address. Before, there was no IPv4 address because now I've been assigned an IP address. I now have an IPv4 address with subnet mask and server. It shows the server that is connected to. So I'm going to close this. Now let me go to the web browser, or I can still use the command prompt and ping a website. Let's say cisco.pka, ping cisco.pka. Alright, let's see. It might take a while to respond from the server. So you can see there's reply from the server. So which means my connection works perfectly. Now let's connect. I can actually browse on the internet now for that same website. Okay, so if I should open my web browser up and I'll come and type Cisco or www.cisco.pka. So you can see the web page is open. The web page works. So that's exactly how your web page is open. So let's see how we can connect the laptop now. So we're going to connect the laptop wirelessly to the router. But for us to do that, we'll find out that on the physical view of our laptop, we have a wired network port. All right, so we can change this. Once we change this, we have to turn off the system first. I just powered it off by clicking the power button. I'm going to remove this guy and come and drag the wireless adapter here and power on the system back. So the next thing, I'm going to go to my desktop, go to PC wireless. All right, I will go to connect. Let me refresh to see if I'm going to see my network. You can see the home network device here. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click on connect. So adapter is active, right? So I'm going to close it. So if you look right here, you can see that my PC is connected to my wireless router wirelessly. So I'm going to go to IP config. It's on DHCP. You can see I've been assigned an IP address. So which means that if I should come here to my desktop and I ping, come to my command prompt, I'll ping the web address cisco.pka. So you can see there's reply from the server working, right? And lastly, I'm going to go to my web browser, okay, and do the same thing I did earlier. I'm going to open up that same website, cisco.pka, to check if I can access the site on my browser. So cisco.pka. So you can see the web page is working. So you can see it's taking some time to load. There's an image that's supposed to load here. You see that it took a while to load. So that's the way your web pages work. So this is exactly how you can set up a home network in your house. So I'm going to be sending some source files to the group that you should practice. Those are physical practicals that you have to do yourself. You're going to set up your own home network, connect devices to each other, connect two PCs to each other, ping them, assign IP addresses to both of them. Remember when I was assigning IP addresses to two different PCs? Okay, let me just quickly show us a last lab. All right, how to do a peer-to-peer connection. A peer-to-peer connection is a connection between two systems. So I can connect a PC and a laptop together, right? And for me to do this, I have to connect my PC. Let me see, okay, it's a wire cable that is here. This is my laptop, okay. So I'm going to use, this is my, for connection, I'm going to use copper crossover, all right. So I'm going to connect this first Ethernet 0, so you can see they are both connected. The next thing I'm going to assign IP addresses to them. So for example, I'll go to IP config. I'm going to use 192.168.1.1 for this PC. Then I'm going to use 192.168.1.2 for this other PC. I'm going to close. All right. Now you can see communication is possible. So let me come to simulation mode. All right, I've been in simulation mode. Let me come to simulation mode. In simulation mode, I can come here, send a PDU. All right, that's going to send a message from this system to this system and simulate it right here. So the first thing you see that it has gone, and it sends a reply back, and you can see it shows you that what the message went. That is why this is sticking here. So that's simply how to send it. So you can do this on your PC manually. I'm just going to show you how to set up your IP address on your PC by yourself. So if you go to your control panel, all right. So if you open up your control panel and you come to your network and internet, all right, come to network and sharing center. Okay, I'm going to click on change adapter settings. Now, if you're using a wired network, okay, you can come here to internet, right click on it, go to properties. So right here, you can see TCP IPv4. So once I click on properties, this is exactly where it changes from dynamic to static. So if I want to use a static IP address, I just come and click on it and put a static IP address, like say 192.168.1.0. So, and I press type, you can see this has appeared here. So that's how to do it. You do it physically for two different systems. When you connect to them with an Ethernet cable, all right, you can purchase Ethernet cables, or you can get them from, probably when you have a wireless router, they usually come with their own Ethernet cable. All right, so that's going to be it for all our labs for today. Do you have any question?
My question is, how will we know the cable to to connect for each the cable we use and connect? How will we differentiate them?
Okay, if you watch the other video, you see that they have different standards for connecting. Okay, so
That,
there are different connection type. Well, you can just use a normal copper straight through cable, or if you see a copper
okay,
crossover, right? Yes, there's a way to crimp them. You can buy them, right? So if you want to buy, just tell them you're looking for copper straight through or copper crossover. They can even crimp it for you there with the different standards. So there are different ways the cables are arranged in colors, right? For example, now the copper straight through, the color arrangement will be orange and white, orange, green and white, blue, blue and white, green, brown and white, and brown. So those are how the six cables will be arranged on both ends. If you watch that video, you see I showed an example of that cable, an internet cable. So this is just a simulation of what it looks like.
Thank you.
All right. So, any other question?
No, no question.
All right.
No question from my end.
All right.
Sorry, I was off for quite a while, but
The class is
the Lord will
over.
help us.
So, I will
Okay, thank
just
you very much. I'll watch it.
send the recording.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. I'll unlock the exams so you people can take the exams.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
So you have to take
Okay.
the chapter 1 to 4, module 1 to 4 exam. Let me just show you that. So you have to take, let me open up my course again. All right. So you have to take this particular exam here. All right, module 1 to 4 group exam. So that video covers module 1 to 4, and the practicals are just it covers module 1 to 4. Right, and I'm going to unlock this one too for you. I'm going to unlock this one for you too, so you can take them. All right, so we're done for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Yeah.